training because it's a collaboration between 3 companies and you all out there in the audience as well. A bunch of companies. We've got WP Engine, we've got the brand ID, we've got LifterLMS coming together to help you see and learn about a solid technology foundation that you can put underneath your online course or your training-based membership site. The reason that this is so important is as course creators, as experts, as leaders and teachers, what I find is that the course building community are extremely busy people. Everybody's really busy, but course creators are insanely busy. They have to wear a lot of hats. So I talk about the 5 hats a lot. You have to be an expert, a teacher, a community builder, a technologist, and an entrepreneur. That's a tall order. So when you are doing the technology piece, it's really important to build on a solid foundation that can bring your idea to life, can get you to that point where you get your first sale or your first enrollment, and also be with you as you scale up and support you on that journey. And if you don't have a solid technology foundation, or if it's a little too complex, it can just cause you to slow down in all those other areas of being an education entrepreneur, which are it's very important to, you know, have technology be a vehicle for getting you where you want to go and not kind of get in your way, and also anticipate what you need and have what you need before you even know you need it, which is why I'm super excited to bring these 2 companies onto these webinars, which we're, you know, often doing solo or just with one guest. But first, I want to welcome our great group of people here. We've got Rachel Gogos and Alex Mustin from the Brand ID. Welcome to the show, y'all.
Hey, Chris. Thanks. Great to be here.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, it's good to have y'all here. So they're the creators of the Course Maker Pro theme, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, which is a Genesis child theme. I'm super excited about it, but we'll get into that in a second. We've got David Vogelfol from WP Engine. I might have.
It's pretty good,
your
Chris.
last name.
That wasn't too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the call. Appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to the discussion.
Yeah, David's from WP Engine, and I don't know. I think we met about 5 years ago at a Pressonomics event. I think that's the first time we met in person. But it's great to be here with you all. And just a little bit of quick housekeeping. We've got some people live with us. Like I mentioned earlier, before I hit record, you will get a replay if for some reason you have to jump early. But thank you everybody for coming live. I'd love for this to be as engaging and interactive as possible. If you have a question at any time or a topic you want to put on the table for discussion, there's a Q&A box here in Zoom. There's also the chat. And Zoom has a feature where you can raise your hand if you want to talk live. We're going to save the questions till the end. We're kind of going to go into the Brand ID Course Maker Pro world first. Then we're going to go into WP Engine, and then we're going to go into LifterLMS, and then we'll do Q&A at the end of that. I'd encourage you to stay to the end. We are going to be doing a LifterLMS giveaway where we're going to give away one of our $99 add-ons, a year of that. If you want something else, you can use it as a discount. If you're already a customer, we'll hook you up with that value in a different way. But yeah, I encourage you to stay to the end. And yeah, just please drop questions. This is a really awesome topic. Building your education empire on a solid foundation and having strong technology partnerships with the companies you want to support you on that journey is a super important topic. So I'm really excited to get into it. Really what this is all about is building a education engine that is, I love the kind of the metaphor of a vehicle that can support you and support the digital experience that really your learners are going after and the experience that you want to craft as a creator. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, we're going to start with the brand ID. Rachel and Alex, how do you want to take us in?
I was going to kick off, and if it's okay, I'd love to just share my screen. We've got a couple slides to share with everyone. Awesome. All right. So, welcome everybody. It's nice to be here with you. I want to share a little bit about personal branding and business branding, which is actually our expertise here at Brand ID, and it's also how we got into the theme world. So before we get too deeply into the technology, I would like to share a little bit about personal branding, building your audience, identifying your ideal customer, and especially identifying your own differentiators, because as course creators and entrepreneurs, it's super important to be clear on some of these things. And it also is really the methodology and aspects of, what we asked ourselves before actually building this brand. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes of your time to kind of share the backstory for the theme, and then I'll turn things over to Alex, who's going to take a real deep dive into the technical side of things. So we want to help you build an online digital course with ease, while at the same time helping you stand out in a very crowded marketplace. The course world has gotten extremely creative, so the more you can stand out online, the better it will be for you. I describe ourselves as a soulful digital marketing agency, and the reason we use soul so often in our work is because everything you need to build a strong brand is right there inside of you. It's really tapping into your soul, into your essence. And that might be really opposite the way a lot of technical and course people think, which is why Alex and I make such a great partnership, because we just, combine our essences and are able to do what we do through Brand ID. We work with innovators and entrepreneurs and thought leaders to build their personal brands. And we've been doing this for over a decade. But most recently, we launched a portal called Build My Brand ID. And that's for people who want to kind of take their pieces of brand building and business building and do them themselves and really build out a course or a brand on a budget. So we're often asked what exactly is personal branding. So I wanted to break it down for you. The way we define it is a three-part cocktail. There's 3 ingredients in this cocktail. The first being, as I've mentioned, your personal essence. And this is really, the deep aspects of your personality and your most unique differentiators. The second part is your reputation, and your reputation is what others think that you stand for. And the third part, of course, is marketing, right? If nobody knows that you or your course exist, there's no way you're going to be able to build a brand. So when you market yourself, your product, your course in a way where it's grounded in your essence, what you stand for, and your reputation, what others believe you stand for, you've got the foundation to build a really strong business and launch pad for your course. When we started creating the CourseMaker Pro theme, there were 3 things that we thought about. And these are 3 things as course creators you should be thinking about, because you're going to want to accentuate these things in your marketing efforts, in your copywriting, and even in your course. So the first question we asked ourselves, and I invite you to ask yourself, is what uniquely qualifies you to create your course and to deliver your course? So when thinking about your differentiators, think about aspects of your personality that might be unique, or think about your skills that might be unique compared to other people creating courses in the same space that you're creating them in. A third thing is think about your past experiences. Like Chris mentioned recently in a conversation I was having with him, his past experiences of working in Alaska and building a local tourism business involving dog sleds, which I thought was so unique. And one might think, well, how does that really differentiate Chris? Well, aside from making him really memorable, I'm sure he's encountered challenges in Alaska doing that type of work that as a course creator, just like today, right? He has no power, but he's totally able to just kind of run with things and still run a webinar with confidence and with ease. So those experiences, not that you're going to market them overtly, but just think about them, because those are things that make you stand out. And then the last thing that's a big differentiator for people is your opinions. again, you might be creating a course that's really similar to other people's course topics, but your opinions of that topic might greatly differ than somebody else's. So think of this as your intellectual property and your philosophies and your frameworks. That's another massive differentiator. The second question to ask yourself, and again, we asked ourselves in creating this theme, is who is this course really for? It is most people's nature when creating something to create it for everybody, to create it for the biggest audience that they can think of could possibly consume their content. But again, this might be moving things to, or push you to think about things in an opposite way, but the more niche you are in considering your audience, the easier it's going to be for you to create content for your audience. So you want to think about the particular pains that your ideal student has. You want to make sure you address these pains in creating your course content. You want to make sure that your marketing materials speak to them, because that's what's going to draw them in and potentially convert to becoming a buyer or consumer of a course. And then the third thing, again, we can't talk about marketing enough, but we asked ourselves was about marketing. So how can you effectively and efficiently communicate your differentiators to the right people in order for them to want to buy your product, right? When you start to create all these different seemingly disparate pieces, it's tricky to share your differentiators and share what your product is for in a way that sounds eloquent and concise and meaningful to somebody else. So we've created this theme in a way to help you market and amplify the pieces of you that are unique and strong selling points for your course. So let me switch gears now. I'm actually going to take you to the homepage of CourseMaker Pro and show you, oops, I backed out of it. Show you the unraveling of the homepage, if you will. So when we talk with clients about homepages and the copy that they put on their homepage, I often compare it to walking into somebody's home. So when somebody comes to your front door, you welcome them in and you ask them about themselves and you want to kind of draw them into a conversation and make them feel a little bit more comfortable in your space. And you want to create that same relationship on your homepage from top to bottom. So again, from top, you want to make it comfortable for them. You want that customer to see themselves in your space, in your course, and whatever it might be. And that goes back to question number 2 about being really clear on who you're selling your course to. So the copy in this section, the hero section, you really want it to speak directly to the person that this is for. And the best way to connect with a potential student is by actually, again, speaking to the pains that are driving them to want to learn more about whatever it is you're teaching. So in this section here, you want to put some brief copy that just grabs their attention and lets them know that you understand them on a deeper level and that you can help solve their problem. As you scroll down, further down the home page, you can put some reinforcing copy in here that again reiterates to the buyer, the consumer, that they can see themselves within your course and that this course might be a good fit for them. And all these sections here are your opportunity to keep doing that in different ways. And we vary the sizes of the font just to make the design more interesting and just to allow you to use, varying amounts of copy in the different sections. As we transition further down the page, we have this section called an opt-in. And this is an opportunity to build your list. So people might come to your course site not necessarily being ready to buy it, but are curious about it. And so if you want to offer them something here for free in exchange for their email address so that you can market to them in the future if you're running a special on your course, or if you're going to do a micro version of your course, or whatever that might be, to start forging a relationship with a potential student. You want to gather their email address here. And one of our design features in our themes is that we always make this section pretty large and generous. And that's really intentional because we don't want people to miss this section, and you want it to really stand out. So as we go further down the homepage, this is where you switch gears and you really start talking now about what you're offering. And this is where you can start building in some of those differentiators we talked about a little bit earlier. So here you can talk about what the course specifically is about, what makes the course unique. If you have a framework that you're going to be teaching people, you would want to put a little bit of that copy here. And a little further down the page, you can get into the weeds a little bit more. So these 4 sections here can actually talk about particular modules in your course, or 4 results-driven takeaways that somebody would get from your course. And you can modify this and just use 3. You can add a 5th. With Gutenberg now, this section has become really user-friendly and easy to modify. But out of the box, you'll have 4 sections to talk about here. As you go further down the page, this is a section for testimonials. There's nothing like a third-party endorsement for selling your course, and for people that are thinking about buying your course to see what other results or what praise somebody may have that has already consumed your course. And now you've really switched gears, right? Back to the house analogy and getting deeper in your home and making people comfortable. Now you're actually going to talk about yourself and what your specific unique qualifications are that give you the authority and the reputation to provide a course on whatever topic it is you're sharing. So this is where you'd share a little bit about yourself. You can put a video here. It doesn't have to be a static image. Next section is the frequently asked questions that we often see on long form landing pages that are selling courses. So these can expand or contract. You can add as many as you want here. And last but not least, we have your guarantee. So in this section, you'll just want to, again, build upon your reputation and make it really easy for people to purchase your course. You want them to feel as little risk as possible when investing in your course. And this not only gives them confidence in what you're providing, but it also makes them feel very comfortable in consuming it, trying it out. And it just shows that you really believe in your work if you provide a guarantee that is rock solid. So I'm happy to take questions now, or as Chris mentioned, we can dive into them later. But at this point, I'm going to turn things over to Alex, who is going to talk about the technical features of the theme.
Yeah, let's keep the flow and save the questions till the end.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. So I'm Alex Mustin, and I am the lead developer for the CourseMaker Pro theme. I'm going to show some of the technical features of the theme. If I can get this to work here. Sorry, my window's all big. Let me resize things here. There we go. Let's share things here. Okay. So the tech features that make CourseMaker Pro stand out, some of them include the Genesis one-click theme setup, and I'm going to go over that next. But another one of the features that we have, we're going to go over the customizer features that we've added to the theme. And then we'll go over some of the LifterLMS features and how specifically CourseMaker Pro integrates with LifterLMS. So the Genesis one-click theme setup, this is a new feature that's been introduced fairly recently with the Genesis framework, but we've really capitalized on that with CourseMaker Pro. It lets you set up your site in minutes instead of hours. And I'm going to help explain why you should use the one-click theme setup. You can take an entire fresh WordPress install without anything there, and you can completely have it set up and ready for new course creation within minutes. So when you perform this, it'll install all the plugins that we've handpicked that we think are great for some new course creators. It'll install a whole bunch of demo content, some demo pages. It'll create navigation menus. It'll create testimonials, all this demo stuff for you automatically. So then you can just simply go in and change everything that you need to. And I'm going to show you a demo of that right now. So basically, I have here a fresh WordPress install. As you can see, it's just basic. There's nothing really here. Pretty basic and straightforward. Now, if I go to my themes here and I activate CourseMaker Pro, I'm presented with a screen that will tell me everything that's about to happen, but it's going to install this list of plugins right here that we've selected, and then it will install demo content, and then we'll be able to check it out. But it happens fairly quickly by clicking that one button there. And it's doing everything in the background. It's installing the plugins, and it's configuring them for the best settings to go along with CourseMaker Pro. And in the back end, now it's adding all those pages and all the navigation menus and everything else. It's just about done here. There we go. And now going from that basic WordPress install, now we have an entire CourseMaker Pro setup ready to go. This has got everything Rachel just showed off already in here. It's got real blog posts in here. And we've configured a lot of the settings here. Another thing we can do that I'm going to touch on really quick is by default, it does not import any LifterLMS stuff, but you can simply do that here. We've included a file, so you can pick the file that you need, and it's included in our theme files in the sample data folder. So I can just import that here. And this is going to import our demo course that is shown on our demo website. And this can help you get familiar with just how LifterLMS works in the back end and how it looks for users and everything. But now,
this is amazing. I just want to say, if we were in a live studio audience, there would be like an applause happening. If you guys are digging what you're seeing, let's just leave a cool or something in the chat. Just the idea of I think we all take for granted, if we've been around WordPress for a while, like what a blank WordPress install looks like. You guys have like seriously moved the starting line to a really amazing spot. My hat's off to you.
Oh, thank you. We figured this would be pretty helpful for some people, so definitely check this feature out. But yeah, so you can see here we are on the course syllabus page. It's installed all these sample lessons. It's installed. We've written the previews for each course there, and applied featured images and all these things. So that's one of the major features that we've been trying to incorporate for CourseMaker Pro to make things easier for course authors. Let me get back to the slideshow here. So some of the CourseMaker customizer features that we've added are, if you use the customizer a lot, you'll find these very helpful, but you can go in and you can actually start changing around the colors of things and get a live preview of how they look on the page as you're changing the colors of things. As you can see here, this does apply to the LifterLMS items that we've designed. So as you change the colors for the site, it will apply to those LifterLMS things. You may have seen when I was doing the demo, but we've added a carousel slider so that you can actually use your blog to promote your LifterLMS courses. And as people kind of cruise around through your blog archives and blog posts, they'll see this slider at the top of the page all the time. So if you want to highlight your courses there, that's another inviting way to get people to see more of your stuff. We've also added a feature that will list out all the other categories that your blog posts are in. So maybe not everyone knows everything that you're posting about. Maybe they just see one article here and there. This will definitely help them understand, I write about all these different other categories, and that can further enforce your courses. And then if you feel like you don't want to use the styles that we've made, we've included an option to reset these back to normal. And if you would like to, make your own custom styles, that's very easy to do too. as far as the LifterLMS features and how CourseMaker integrates with that, we've kind of changed around the course syllabus page and the single lessons pages layouts. We've kind of made it so you could see more course lessons at one time, and kind of have it be more comprehensive there. And the single lesson pages, we've updated those so the navigation is a little more focused. We've applied the customizer color palette settings, so they apply to everything that's in LifterLMS. That's everything, the badges that pop up, the alerts that pop up, the everything. The more you tinker around in there, the more that you'll see that we've really done some background work and colored everything so it all matches along with everything else in the theme. And then as you saw, I included the files to import the sample course for Build Your Brand. And that will let you get familiar with how everything works in the back end. Those are just a few of the features of what we put into CourseMaker Pro, but we hope you can find great value in those. I'm going to turn it back over to Rachel now, and she can continue with the presentation.
Hi again. We just want to show you real quick. Let me see if my screen is sharing what a customization looks like. And Alex, actually one thing I might turn it back to you is to show the customizer tool, the colors, the fonts, that piece of it. That's a really cool feature. So here's just a customization of the CourseMaker Pro theme. This is one we actually did for this particular person. It wasn't a DIY one, but just wanted to show you all how different things can look when you start to customize with images and fonts and different colors. This is that section I mentioned earlier with 5 across. They don't have a rotating, or no, they do. We removed the buttons on this for the testimonial slider, and here we added a video. So the nice thing is some of these features are interchangeable. Just because you saw a video in one spot doesn't mean you can't have it in another section. All right, Alex, do you want to show those color customization features?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay.
So here we are in the demo site. We have a page that shows our LifterLMS stuff here. So let's see here. I'm not sure why it's not going to that page right now. Let me try and, sorry about that. Interesting.
Live demos, right?
Yeah. But you can see here, if you change the main color of the main, what we call the main accent color, you can start to see it changes a few things in the page preview here, including the stripe that's seen on a lot of the elements. This same treatment is done on the LifterLMS lessons when you're viewing the syllabus page, so that'll be affected as well, and it'll change just like that. So you can, change the colors, see how much it changes everything, and pick just the right color that you want to use. So that's a great feature there. And this will apply to all the LifterLMS buttons and everything too. So there's not a lot of guesswork that you have to do. It's just kind of set it, and there you go.
I think that's amazing. I just want to say the well-designed layout and giving people the customizable control and the one-click setup. I mean, those are all like game-changing. And giving a simple design customizer panel where people can have control to match their colors and their brand is really amazing. And it's extendable, just like the site you showed for Kruger there. It looks a little different from the demo, but that's the point. You can make it fit. And this is one of the cool things about, Lifter's LMS is plugin based system, primarily functionality based, but then you all come in with the design skills and the layout skills and the user experience and like, hey, what do we want the front door experience to be like when someone steps into this house? and really put a lot of thought into that and lay it out in an intelligent way is really quite amazing. Go ahead, Rachel.
We have one other really cool aspect of this theme, which is we have written copywriting guides for each page, or the most common pages. So there's a copywriting page for the homepage. There's a copywriting guide for the about page, and the work with us page, or in this case, you wouldn't need work with us, but it speaks to the, you can modify it. You can use you'll see there's prompting questions, and there's a word count approximate section here, supporting copy, what to put in your CTA, etc. So you can modify these pages to work for you if you decide to use something other than about or a work with me. A lot of course creators also offer consulting, so that's why we've created that one.
That is amazing. I mean, and this is what I'm talking about when you build your, your technology education engine, like this kind of support. I mean, people, yeah, they need a website, but then what do you need? You need some words, and just supporting people with great demo starter content and even more advanced copywriting guides to help them figure out how to think. I mean, these are all things that, to me, my light bulb goes off, like, this is a company that really cares about their customer success, which is awesome. Is there anything else with brand ID before we kind of switch gears a little bit, or are you guys good on your part?
No, we're good. We have a coupon code, but I can drop it in the chat for anyone that doesn't have a WP Engine account. But of course, by the end of this webinar, everyone should have a WP Engine account where they can get this theme for free.
Yeah, and we do have some questions I know that'll kind of fall in the brand ID side, but we'll save those till the end so we can keep the flow going. But thank you guys. I just have to say how taken aback I am because I know the user experience, and I realize that when we do WordPress for a long time, you kind of get used to, like, all right, what you see is not what you get. But here, because I think David calls it the most annoying problem on the internet, where like it doesn't look anything like the demo. Well, this looks exactly like the demo, and you can customize it and make it your own. And we'll teach you how to write the words so your course is your messaging is well done. It's amazing. But we're going to transition over to another leg on the tech stack. Very important leg. Without this leg, nothing happens. This is David over at WP Engine. I've been a WP Engine customer myself for a long time. I use it on my personal sites, and I have a project that I'm transitioning off of old LMS onto Lifter. I have a very hard time getting the time to get to that, but one of the things about that is the way WP Engine does staging environments, has my back on backups when I break things. When I hear people talk about WP Engine, they talk about the chat support. It's almost like they anticipate what you need before you need it, and I'm sure that's just part of the culture of that company. But David, let's hear about WP Engine. What makes it awesome? I find myself recommending it a lot. People ask for hosting recommendations. If I can wave a magic wand, sometimes people start with shared hosting. They want to keep costs down, keep it as low as possible, and I totally get that. If there's budget, I always recommend starting with a economical managed WordPress host like WP Engine, because it's just a lot easier just to start there. And if your website is the business and not just a brochure for the business, it's important to have these awesome tools that kind of help you make sure everything's backed up, secure, that you can test things out in private before they go live. All these more advanced hosting features that are cool. But David, let's hear about WP Engine. What's happening over there?
Awesome. Yeah. Love to share some more information there. Appreciate the opportunity, Chris, and thanks also for your business.
Yeah.
Speaking of security, our rock solid security team has locked down screen sharing, including for Zoom. So in order to share my screen, I'm going to have to quit and jump back in. So would you like to just talk to the points, Chris, or leave?
Yeah, we can, I could also go first. Yeah, I'll leave it up to you to decide.
Yeah, why don't you go first, and then I'll pop out, come back in. But that's how serious we take security here.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I don't even know what's happening. I shared my screen like 2 days ago in Zoom, so something changed in the meantime.
Yeah, no problem. I'll go ahead and go, and we'll see David from WP Engine back in a little bit.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. I was saving my part for the end because some of you are already familiar with LifterLMS, but I know some of you aren't. So I'm just going to pull up my slides here and do a quick kind of 15 minutes about what makes LifterLMS special. Could somebody let me know in the chat? Just write the word welcome if that's the slide you see up on the screen. I always have keynote issues, so just checking to make sure that I'm on the right slide, because once I share it, I can't see anything else. Not seeing slides. Okay, let me try that again then. I'm glad I checked. There we go. Sharing again. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hit play here. So again, somebody let me know welcome in the chat if that's what you're seeing. Yep, see the slides. Cool. So this is a short version of a presentation about LifterLMS, like what it is, what makes it different, how it's unique in the space. The full version of this, if you go to the LifterLMS homepage, we'll put a link in the chat. You go to the bottom, you can see a longer presentation about what I'm going to show you here. But this is just a quick one. If you want more of a step-by-step tutorial, I would recommend taking the LifterLMS Quick Start course that's over in the LifterLMS Academy. That shows you how to launch an online course website in 20 minutes, from zero to website in 20 minutes. And that's a free course. If you want more of a step-by-step, follow along, click by click, how I do this tutorial. So check that out. But let me just move forward. LifterLMS helps several types of people. I'd love to hear in the chat, which one are you? So we find that there's kind of three groups of customers that work with LifterLMS. There's people I call builders who build sites for clients. They are the experts, WordPress professionals, marketing agencies, freelancers. We call them builders. And sometimes they get into it so much, then they start building courses for themselves and their clients and stuff. But are you a builder? Let me know in the chat. Then we have the starters. These are the do-it-yourself professionals. Like, these are great. All these are a good fit for Course Maker Pro. But starters are people who are starting at the very beginning. Maybe they've never even built a WordPress site before. Let's say a professional speaker or book author or coach who wants to kind of get a more scalable model. They need a platform and a vehicle and a tech stack to start their online course or their training-based membership site business. I call them starters. Then we have switchers. These are people who have outgrown a hosted version. That's where you're paying monthly, kind of like renting an apartment for like kind of a course in a box site. They all kind of look the same. They're not as customizable. They can be quick to set up. They tend to be more expensive in the long run. But sometimes that's what people, once they get comfortable with there and maybe they feel like they're a little boxed in and it doesn't do what they want it to do and they want more flexibility, they switch to WordPress and they start looking for a WordPress LMS. And then we also get people switching from other tools in WordPress to LifterLMS. So if anybody wants to play along, let me know in the chat. Just write the word builder, starter, or switcher. So in the LMS software landscape, there's a couple problems. One is the software Frankenstein. These are like the switchers. Sometimes you can get like a membership plugin, an e-commerce plugin, a course plugin, a gamification plugin, all made by different companies. Sometimes you end up with what I lovingly call the software Frankenstein, where you just have too many plugins made by too many different companies that aren't kind of supported in a team way. That's what we want to avoid. I'm not saying you can't use other plugins. I'm just saying that you want to kind of keep it to a minimum and make sure you're going with good providers with great support. The other problem we see is people are not monetized. This is where, let's say like a YouTuber or something is they're making all this content, but they haven't really figured out how to monetize, or they're under monetizing and not looking for expansion revenue opportunities, like growing from a course to a membership site. Content theft is another problem where people are giving away everything for free, or their system's not secure or locked down. Low engagement. This is the dirty little secret of membership sites, I like to call it. This is where there's been, studies on this, 10% completion rates, or people get excited, they buy something and then they don't finish it. And then no flexibility and traps. They end up in a software solution or tech stack that can't grow with them or be extended. with other off-the-shelf tools or custom development and design. These are what we want to avoid. So the LifterLMS difference or promise is all about creative freedom, the ability to sell and maximize revenue, protection of your content, engaging your learners, and connecting to anything. This particular slide is one of the things that's really relevant to today's conversation. By being able to go outside of the LifterLMS world and use a theme like the CourseMaker Pro and use hosting like WP Engine, you can build a really robust architecture that can support you and scale with you. So there's 3 big ideas I'd like you to consider is, when possible, go for an all-in-one solution. That for a Lifter, this means combining membership, e-commerce, LMS, progress tracking, reporting, analytics, gamification, engagement, certification, achievement badges, all that stuff, all in one solution. That's one of the things we wanted to do when we created LifterLMS. We want a system that can not just protect and give information, but is also designed around learner results. And the third is the ability to connect with anything, like great themes like CourseMaker Pro, put it on the hosting provider of your choice, like WP Engine, or really anything. We've got a Zapier integration, all kinds of other plugins that integrate with Lifter, and it's an open source thing. So really anything's possible, through custom development and design. So I'm just going to go through the top benefits real quickly here. LifterLMS helps you to create, sell, engage, protect, and connect. Those are the big ideas. And in terms of creation, you can create courses from one screen through our innovative course builder, which is kind of wild when you think about it. That you can essentially kind of design the skeleton of your course, even with WordPress, where traditionally custom post types are all over the place. We've centralized that user experience to one screen so that you can, essentially build the outline and then go populate it with content. You can do any training and business model. If you're a coach, you can do courses, you can do course plus group coaching, course plus private coaching. You can have all kinds of price points. You can add a social learning community to your site. Really any kind of, from one course website to multi-instructor online school and everything in between, it's possible with LifterLMS. You can create a unique brand and design, and themes like the CourseMaker Pro are like a huge shortcut to getting to a starting point for, all right, we've got this great looking design that's well thought out, well laid out. And then you start, customizing it in the customizer, getting your own photography in there, your own color palette and everything. That's one of the real powers of WordPress if you want to create something super beautiful. We've got compliance flexibility with GDPR, terms and conditions, and any kind of legal model. I'm not giving you legal advice, but Lifter's designed with privacy and legal concerns in mind and giving you flexibility to what you want to require on your site. And you can really do any enrollment plan, from a simple one-time payment to trials to monthly payment plans, or monthly forever, weekly, whatever. Any kind of pricing model or access model you can create with LifterLMS. You can sell, you can package and monetize. Here's one of our customers, WP101. They've talked about it publicly on their blog, so I could share. They have over 30,000 people in their membership site, which is a multi-instructor online school. And their particular underlying theme framework here is the Genesis framework, which is the same thing that the CourseMaker Pro is a Genesis child theme. So similar stack. You can get leads and sales. I've got a free course over here, the official Quick Start course for LifterLMS. This is the #1 driver of email list growth for Lifter over the past 5 years, which is, I already kind of mentioned what this course is all about in this presentation, but you can use free course lead magnets to grow your email list and, you know, nurture your buyers and also onboard your new customers. You can maximize profit through upselling, coaching, and community. You can create recurring value in lots of different ways, which allows you to charge recurring revenue. You can get paid in advance. You can do a product launch where there's like a launch window. You can have a future start date if you want to validate before you go to the work of creating all the content. Super flexible. The next thing is engagement. You can engage with people through our social components. I call this the results revolution, where it's not just about selling information anymore, but it's about really creating an experience and an educational kind of pathway for a learner to reliably get results through a proven process. This is the results revolution. This is how we design the software around these kinds of ideas. We've got robust reporting, allowing you to understand your learners and understand, you know, courses or memberships topically, get whatever data you need. You can export the data if you want. We've got progress controls for things like drip content, prerequisites, you know, dripping out on certain dates, so that you can control the access and the flow and avoid information overwhelm with your students if you want, or you can keep it wide open. We've got gamification through badges and certificates. And we've got the protection where, you know, you can display your syllabus and do it beautifully, like with the Course Maker Pro theme, but your content is secure. And this is your business. You're building a business asset. This is your intellectual property. And we never lose sight of that at LifterLMS. So there's tons of features designed around making sure that your content's kept safe and secure, like individual user accounts, privacy controls, and that's just the protection stuff. I'm not going to do the deep dive on that. And the last thing is really about the connection. This is what makes WordPress special. You can connect with your favorite WordPress tools. And many of these Lifter integrates with, or these other companies integrate with. And that's plugins and themes like Course Maker Pro. We've got a native Zapier integration listed on the Zapier app directory. So if you want to connect to 1,500 plus other apps, you can do that. We've got a robust REST API. This was a really amazing thing we rolled out at the tail end of last year, which allows other development companies to more easily and more powerfully integrate with LifterLMS with their products. And also, if you want a developer to customize or add any functionality, this is the thing you want to look for to have a robust solution that developers can work with to build out your platform. And that's really it. That's the lightning demo of LifterLMS, what it's all about, what makes it special. Again, if you want the full version, you can get that over at on LifterLMS.com. There's a link. You'll see where you can opt into this presentation. I do a much deeper dive. But if anybody has questions about any of that, anything about Lifter, let us know in the Q&A or in the chat, and we will get back to that. And let me see if I can stop my share. There we go. Cool. So that's what's going on at LifterLMS. David, let me see if, I'm going to make you the co-host again. So I should bring you up.
Yay, I'm back.
You're back?
All
Maybe
right.
With screen sharing capabilities?
I know, I hope so. I was teasing Alex earlier about the live demo thing. And, sure enough, I'm going to pay the piper on that one.
Yeah.
Looks good. I think we got it. So I'll go ahead and pull this up now. Thanks again, Chris, for giving me the opportunity to share some information today. I was really excited about the work that Rachel and Alex and the Brand ID kind of embarked on. I don't even know when that process started, Rachel. Was that like almost a year ago, I think, at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, a little backstory here for those not familiar. WP Engine is fundamentally, you can think of us as a WordPress host or WordPress platform where you would host your website. A little over 2 years ago now, or just about 2 years ago now, we purchased the Genesis framework, which is a way of building themes. And with that, Rachel's the Brand ID's Theme Course Maker Pro is available on Studio Press Marketplace as well, of course, as on at the Brand ID's website. So that's a little bit of the connection here. And I'm glad you said the quote earlier, Chris, that installing your theme and having it look nothing like the demo, again, this is my little coined phrase, is the most disappointing experience on the internet. I've personally built course sites, worked with teams that have built course sites. I've even started a course and have had that experience. And the setup process of any website, in a WordPress context or sometimes even otherwise, you're talking hours or weeks or days to do what Alex just did and showed us live in a demo. So it's an incredible ability that theme makers like the Brand ID are delivering to users. And I'm really excited that we get to play a role in that. And this was one of the key features that we released in the Genesis framework very early on. So that aside, I want to talk to you a little bit today, though, about what WP Engine does, what we think differentiates us a little bit, maybe a lot even, from some of the lower end platforms that you might be more familiar with. For those not familiar with me, I'm based here in Austin, Texas, a proud father, of course. But I have a history in digital going back to about 1996, when I actually worked for an ISP and hosting company and have stayed in that niche nearly my entire career. I did spend 5 years owning and operating a WordPress agency. We were very heavy in the course space, working, if you follow the course space, I'm guessing you do if you're watching this webinar, covering a lot of big names in service of them, big launches. So this is something I'm very familiar with. In my role at WP Engine, I'm on the senior leadership team. I'm the brand and business unit lead, if you would, of Genesis and Studio Press, the theme business I mentioned earlier. Contribute a ton to the WordPress community. And then another one of my teams works with some of our technology partners to build plugins together, including the Amazon AI WordPress plugin, Cloudflare Stream Video CDN plugin, and then I host a podcast. That's just a little bit about me. So let's talk about WP Engine, though. What are we? Rachel, I feel like I'm stealing a page from your book here. We are our values. That is what WP Engine is. We have these 5 core values: do the right thing, even when it's hard. You can kind of read some of the subtext there. We have the full subtext listed online. But to us, this means doing the right thing for the customer, doing the right thing for the business, even if it's hard. And so we use all of these core values as a filter in the decisions that we make. And sometimes it leads us to hard decisions for us as a business, but the right decision for our customers. So this is what defines us, from engineering, employee experience, marketing, support. This is what WP Engine is fundamentally. Now, by the numbers, if you would, like what is our size, where are we, what kind of business are we? We service around 130,000 customers in about 150 different countries. This makes up about 600,000 websites. If you know anything about hosting, that's not a huge number for a host or a platform. You got to keep in mind, these are 600,000 of the most powerful and popular WordPress sites on earth. If you look at all web traffic, people using the web every day, 5% of those people will use a WP Engine website every single day. So that's the breadth and reach we have into the broader web. Support is extremely important to us. I use it myself. I have my own sites on WP Engine, and it's a joy for me to be able to go into chat, ask them a question 24/7. We have offices all around the world, so it's not like you're talking to somebody at 4 in the morning their time. They're nice and happy and friendly. And every single support person only supports WordPress. This is important because when you look at, say, a generalist host, that support rep that you're talking to was helping someone on Drupal before you, and Joomla before that. Oh, and with their email configuration right before that. These are fundamentally different problems. It becomes extremely hard for a support person to do an excellent job when they have to be kind of a jack of all trades and master of none. Our support people are 100% focused on WordPress. I'll talk about that a little more later. We are a global company. We have offices in San Francisco, San Antonio, 2 in Austin, Limerick, Ireland, London, England, Krakow, Poland, and Brisbane, Australia. And these are physical offices. We also have remote people scattered throughout the world. So it's a little bit about us from the numbers. These are some of our customers. We service brands large and small. So we have, individual entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, if you would. I know there's a lot of people in the course space kind of going it alone. And again, we view our role as having your back. Your success is our success. So when when we're servicing a customer, we measure whether we're doing a good job about whether or not they're able to achieve their goals. We're certainly proud of our big logos, but we fight just as hard for our small customers. We service customers kind of all through the spectrum. We also are in service and work really closely with a lot of agency partners. Again, large and small. I'm not sure if there are a ton of folks watching this particular webinar that might be a freelancer or agency, but I'll tell you, and this is a common WordPress story, is when you go make that course site on your own, when you figure out how to do it, when you leverage something like Course Maker Pro and Lifter to punch above your weight and do things you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, people are going to ask you for help with that. So you might inadvertently find yourself building websites for others. But this is another area we pride ourselves in terms of both our product, our technology, and our service. So I'm going to give you a little breakdown of what our platform looks like and why we think it differentiates us and delivers value that our customers are able to leverage to get growth in their business. But our platform really, we divided into 4 areas. I'm going to do like a small deep dive into each. But the first is creative agility. So we're trying to empower you to get your voice to market faster. In the course business, I know that opportunities come out of nowhere and you've got to quickly put together something to address an opportunity with, say, someone in a co-marketing arrangement. And so in that particular context, this pillar, I think, is extremely important. Ecosystem integration. I think this theme, leveraging the Genesis framework, built by the brand ID, leveraging the LifterLMS plugin, and then for those on the WP Engine platform, this is a representation of that ecosystem integration. Again, you've got to play nice with lots of different things. Chris shared the slide showing the plugins that were compatible with Lifter, as well as the Zapier integrations. And I think those are awesome examples in the Lifter context. Of course, we also have our own. Performance is our bread and butter. Our number one mission is to make our customers' websites fast. And that's primarily driven by the fact that slow websites lose visitors and reduce conversion rates. So we view this as a growth initiative for our customers. And then, of course, we want to give you insights into what's happening with your website so you can make the right decisions on how to evolve your site over time. So I'm going to dive in a little bit into each pillar just to kind of show you what I mean by some of these things. And I'm not going to get too technical or nerdy, but I am going to peel back the curtain a little bit so you can kind of see what's going on here. So this is a diagram of just one type of our architecture that WP Engine offers. Now the performance layer involves our servers. It involves the way that we configure something called Nginx, which is like the traffic cop of your website, kind of directing where traffic should go, the way we cache your website, storing pieces of it, not just on the server for quicker downloading. We store that in the server's memory versus pulling the data from the disk. And that's actually much faster. When you pull from disk, the hard drive arm, well, that's in solid state drives, it's still pulling it, I guess, from the magnetic storage without the arm, but storing the data in RAM makes it faster for your visitor to download. And then we'll also leverage what's called the CDN, where we push pieces of your content all around the web. And so that way, when that visitor goes to download your website, they're downloading a lot of those assets from a server that's physically closer to them, but also has less what are called hops and latency. Basically, it means your traffic has to go through less routers on its way to the visitor, which results in a faster load time for them. And again, I'm not going to get too deep on how the infrastructure is configured, but the thing I'll point out is that every bit of it, every single server, every single piece of software, every single technology layered on top of all of these things is specifically optimized for making WordPress sites fast, secure, and available. We don't have to optimize for any other CMS. We don't have to configure our traffic cop to be nice to Drupal and WordPress and Joomla. We only have to do it for WordPress. So that's one of the advantages to leveraging a platform, WP Engine or otherwise, where their only focus is WordPress. These are some of the results that our customers see. And so one of the things that we do is we continually optimize for performance. Just like with your course site and your conversion rates, you're not going to build it and leave it. No, you're going to have new ideas. You're going to find new ways to make your website more efficient at converting visitors into customers or members or students. And at WP Engine, one of the metrics we continually optimize for is performance. We have performance tests that are run prior to any code deployment to our platform. In other words, we have checks to make sure we're not going to accidentally make our platform slower. But in addition to that, there's multiple teams that are continually dedicated to shaving 100 milliseconds on average off of customers, improving speeds, download speeds by 10%, 20%, 30%. These are some of the gains we've had in just the last 12 months for customers, but this is an area where we constantly spend time focusing on. Our mission is to help our customers succeed online, and speed is critical to that. So we view that we can't draw that back. Our job isn't to just sell a bunch of hosting customers and jam thousands of them on a server somewhere to just wring out as much profit as we can. We view our success, our growth is tied to our customer success, and nickel and diming them on infrastructure is not how we are going to be successful. Agility. I think this webinar is highly focused on agility. Seeing the one-click theme setup again, right after we bought Genesis, that was the top feedback from the community. Setting up the themes is too hard. We see this over and over again, not just in the Genesis context, but otherwise. And this was one of the first features we released. And seeing that live in CourseMaker Pro, and of course I demoed it before this, but just to see it again is a really special moment. And I think the new block editor is also allowing a lot of agility within the WordPress context itself. Now for WP Engine, the way we view this within our platform is that we have products, features, and tools that we have made to help you build faster. During last year, we purchased another company called Flywheel. If you're unfamiliar with that, they're another WordPress hosting platform. I love Flywheel. They're amazing. And one of the products they make is a product called Local by Flywheel. In 2020, Local will include the ability to push and pull your WordPress site to Flywheel or WP Engine. Now, if you're not a super nerd, you probably have never done local WordPress development. You gotta try it. Local by Flywheel is actually free, and you can use it on any host. It just the automatic connection piece only works on Flywheel and eventually WP Engine. But it's a really great way to work on your website on your computer. So you're not, cowboy coding, making changes on your live site. You can also use staging for that, but working locally is a ton of fun. Alex, I saw you nodding your head violently. I'm sure you work locally, whether it's with Local or other solutions. We also offer an API, so your developer can control things on the WP Engine platform. That can help you work much quicker. Again, developer feature, SSH Gateway. It's essentially a way to control WP Engine and WordPress fundamentally without using a GUI, which the nerds love. We do have very easy to use developer staging and production environments. I used the phrase cowboy coding earlier, and what that means is making changes on your live website. Please don't do that. And a lot of hosts will include staging and production development environments. On WP Engine, you do a few clicks, and you can have essentially a copy of your website. So if you mess something up, no worries to the live visitors. You can fix that thing, and then once it's fixed, push it live to your production environment. We do include the support and 24/7 support for the Genesis Framework, Studio Press. We have a plugin called Atomic Blocks. Is that bundled with CourseMaker Pro? I believe it is, right, Rachel? Alex is shaking his yes. Yep. Yeah. So when you run the one-click theme setup, it installs this plugin called Atomic Blocks, which is made by WP Engine. And it allows you to use the new block editor in WordPress to edit a lot of that content. Really, really incredible plugin. Again, when I want to show someone the magic of WordPress, I show a theme with one-click theme setup, and then I go start editing the blocks because it's just incredible stuff. We also have a product called Smart Plugin Manager that will help you keep your plugins up to date. It runs automated visual testing to make sure the update won't break your website. We'll actually be adding some enhancements to that. So if you have you know, a plugin update that you need to apply, sometimes those are security patches. It's kind of important to do this quickly. That service will help you do that a little faster. We have a plugin that'll automatically migrate your site over. Super easy to use. Don't need to be a developer. We have, you know, agency billing solutions, and then this one's kind of neat. Again, your developers will love this. If you're not a developer, maybe not. But we have something called PHP Test Drive, which allows you to test your WordPress site on the newest version of PHP. For those unfamiliar, PHP is the programming language that underpins WordPress. And as that language evolves, it gets faster and better and more efficient. As a matter of fact, if you're on WordPress version or PHP version 5 or earlier, you could be missing out on nearly doubling your site speed. There's also security concerns from not updating your PHP. WP Engine does something called managed updates for all of these things, WordPress, as well as the underlying PHP. So if you are a WP Engine customer, I'll let you know you are not on what's called a deprecated version of PHP or an unpatched version, meaning fundamentally that it's potentially insecure. We help, if you don't use our PHP Test Drive tool, we'll actually nudge you along and make sure you are on a nice, safe, fast, and secure version of PHP. Very, very important. I mentioned StudioPress and Genesis earlier. You know, we're really, really honored to be in service of this community. It's one of the oldest sub-communities in WordPress. It'll be 10 years old this February 1st, right around the corner. Over 350,000 registered members. Those are just people that happen to join, like the Slack channel and Facebook group and things like that. Rachel and Alex are common figures in that group, but it's really the way we classify the communities. We think of it as helping each other get better together, and I think that's also underpins the broader WordPress community and the reason why we're all here today, even learning from others, sharing our experiences, and trying to become better at what we do. We have 30 themes that are made by WP Engine, and then we also have partner themes, as Rachel pointed out, including CourseMaker Pro. Genesis is really interesting. It adds, you know, built-in SEO features, security features, and also gives you the ability to tackle AMP if that's something you want to get into. But that's a little bit about those design tools. And then the final piece, and this again, having worked in hosting for 21, 22 years now, what I can tell you is that you will have a problem one day. You'll have a problem with your site, you'll have a problem with your host, you'll have some problem. Doesn't matter how much money they invest, how much time and energy they do, you're gonna have a problem. And what defines a company is how they react in that moment. And that's why I believe that the men and women of the WP Engine support organization live up to that promise that we make to our customers. Our NPS score, and what that stands for is Net Promoter Score. Basically, it's a question along the lines of, would you recommend WP Engine? And we ask you that question after you chat with us. Whether you're happy or not, you're going to answer that question. And we score consistently in the mid-80s. The slide earlier said it was about 86 at this point in time. And I want you to understand that is incredible, unheard of for a WordPress platform. And that is by no means easy for us to accomplish. Your cable company probably has a 20 to 30 score. Most hosts would probably be in the 50 range. Focusing on WordPress allows us to do that because, again, our people are happy. They're not having to like pull their hair out over 5,000 different kinds of problems. So where there's focus, there's progress. But really, it's that customer-inspired vision. Early in my career, I managed a support team at that little web host I told you about in Houston. I think my average time and job for my people was like 6 months. It was just so stressful answering all these questions. And if you've ever done a support role, it can be really taxing. And I have to say that the employee satisfaction scores at WP Engine, this shocked me, I had to double check it, are highest in our support org. So it's a happy group of folks there to help you out 24/7 a day, right there in the chat. And this is huge, huge, huge part of the value that I personally get out of WP Engine now as someone who uses it, as an agency partner in the past, and as a customer in the past, directly purchasing services from WP Engine. So this is a big, big part of our asset. But fundamentally, we are our core values. Even just today, I had a difficult decision that I used the core values to help me act as a crucible to choose the correct path. And it wasn't a comfortable path. And we do this every day all across the company, all 1,000 WP Engine employees all around the world. So that's a little bit about what we're about, a little bit what our platform's about. And I want to just thank you all for hearing me out, listening to what you have to say. And thanks again, Chris, for having me on.
David, that was amazing. I have an exercise I did where I was asking people, like, who do you really admire, like a software company, not who you're talking to, like not us, but like who has incredible support. I want to go study that company and how they do support so that we can learn from them. And WP Engine came up over and over in my survey. So that's just amazing. And I've experienced it too there. It really is something special. And the values are important. And those are the people at the company is really what makes a company. We're technology companies, but at the end of the day, we're still just doing stuff between people, and we've got technology between us and we're using these tools, but we're all working together for a shared outcome. I was looking for I'm going to share my screen real quick. I was looking for a graphic this morning for some just last minute social. I was doing about this presentation to see if anybody else wanted to register. And I found this one, which, we have a space theme at LifterLMS, but this is like 3 rocket engines. So I thought it was just a good metaphor for 3 companies working together. Sometimes in the marketing world, we say stuff like, and I'm guilty of this, guilty as charged, like sometimes I will use the word easy, but the reality is it depends on your experience, and that's a relative term. But when you choose your technology stack, it's important that, you make a good choice where everything's going to fire together, work together, and help you create, launch, and scale. And that's why I'm super excited about this team right here that we have together, because we're helping you create, launch, and scale. We're different companies. We're working together. We're customer focused. Your success is our success. And, you need a vehicle like this rocket ship to take your, to be your education engine that can move your dream forward, get it out of your head, get it onto the web, and be able to support you as you kind of keep coming back to it, change it, tweak it, becomes this huge business asset. And hopefully you get great traction and it scales up with you. So I'm going to transition this part of the call to the Q&A. We've got a bunch of questions that have already come in, but if you have questions, pop them in the chat or the Q&A box. And I'm going to go through the oldest stuff and kind of work my way down. And if you, and just as a reminder, if you stay to the end, we're doing the LifterLMS giveaway. But before I go into the Q&A, I just want to take a quick moment, and we'll do this again at the end. But if you're getting into what we're saying and you want to go deeper, a couple things. First, we'll put a link in the chat on this webinar. Brand ID did a great blog post recently about LifterLMS and CourseMaker Pro. Check that out. But Brand ID, Rachel, where if people want to go deeper, they want CourseMaker Pro, what do they need to do? Where do they need to go?
If they aren't WP Engine customers, because through WP Engine they'll have it for free, they can visit buildmybrandid.com and go to the shop, and the theme is there, as well as some other products that'll help them build their brands.
Hey, Rachel?
Yes.
We don't offer CourseMaker Pro for free on WP.
Oh, sorry.
It's available in the StudioPress marketplace. We would love to. Right now, we only offer the StudioPress made themes for free on WP.
Oh, that's right. Sorry about that.
But we haven't had time since the acquisition to work out the third-party themes yet. But I think you have a great price on it. It's definitely a great kind of price point for value. So I'm really excited to be able to support that.
That's right. I'm just trying to get you more people.
I know. I like it. If you want to give it for free, I'm happy to take it.
Cool. And what about you, David? WP Engine, if people are interested, I guess 2 messages. What if they want to start with WP Engine? And then what if they want to switch to WP Engine? What should they do?
Yeah, WPEngine.com, of course, is where you can go learn about the company. You can read about our different plans. If you sign up for a plan and you have an existing site, we're going to send you an email right after you sign up, regardless if you have an existing one or not. Give you the option to migrate it with the migration plugin. So that would be a good way to move from another host. Again, 24/7 chat support. You have any problems along the way. We also have a feature, an integration with something called Domain Connect that can make it easier to move your domain, which is kind of neat. And then if you're starting fresh, again, you can choose one of those plans. You want to go pick up Rachel's theme. And then once you have activated your plan, when you log into WordPress, you'll just install her theme. It'll run that little setup we saw, and then you'll be solid and good to go. And then I think I also mentioned Local by Flywheel, localbyflywheel.com. That's free. Go check that out if you'd like to get into basically working on WordPress on your computer locally to stage your changes. And again, you can push those changes to any host. It's just the automatic piece. Only works with Flywheel and WP Engine.
That's awesome. And if you're new to LifterLMS and you want to check it out, the best way is just to go to LifterLMS.com. There, at the bottom of the homepage, you can sign up for just a video demonstration of the tool. There's also the Quick Start course in our academy so that you can see what it's like to build your first course and get it up for sale in 20 minutes. And then we also have what we call the $1 demo. That is a temporary site that you get that has all our premium plugins installed with some starter content. It allows you to take things for a test drive for 30 days. You can install other plugins that you already use or want to use and do what you want with it. And that's a great way to take it for a test drive. All that's at LifterLMS.com. We're going to get into Q&A now. And just one more thought before we do that is that David, you call it the most annoying problem in the internet. One thing I like to call it is moving the starting line. Course creators, super busy. Do you want to start with a blank WordPress install, or do you want to start with like something that's ready to go, a copywriting coach, and demo content that you can replace yours? This is the real work of art here. And to have 3 great companies who care about your success to stand by and support you as you grow. That's what it's all about. The first question, it comes from John Sanders. He said he's been working part-time for a couple of weeks. He's a social worker, not a website guy, but learning. He shared a link to his site. I think this is a really important point. There's not really a question, John, if you do have a follow-up question, but I wanted to read that off because you don't have, like when you hear the word I'm a non-technical person, that can mean a lot of different things. But the goal of WordPress and what these companies here are doing is you don't have to be like a techie, a developer, a coder to leverage this kind of technology and to get into this. The first time you do it, it might take a little while. There's a learning curve, but you can absolutely move forward with this stack without ever having built a WordPress website before. If you're already a power user, you can try this one out. But I think it's important for people to know if you're scared about the tech, maybe you're wanting to switch from a hosted solution, you see the benefits of WordPress. It is totally doable as a beginner or non-technical person. So Atara was saying this is beyond amazing. She has a question about importing courses one by one. I'm not sure I totally get the question, Atara. I did see a question you had later about the CourseMaker Pro theme and multiple course sites. Maybe that's one for you, Rachel. What is CourseMaker Pro more for one course website, or could you do a multi-course website, or what are your thoughts on that?
You can do a multi-course website, but for a more technical response, Alex is much better equipped to respond.
Yeah, you can definitely add multiple courses into CourseMaker Pro. It works just the same as LifterLMS does, where you can link to each course's syllabus page so they can be separated. There's a page that displays all of your courses all at once in a grid, just like how we saw the lessons displayed. So,
yeah, I think that's a great point. And this is one of the issues we spend a lot of time with people is some people call it an online course. Some people call it a membership site. Some people call it a learning management system. It's flexible. You can do all of it. And you can also start, like, I kind of see the course as the fundamental building block. You can start with that, but then you can scale up into more complex models if you want, multiple instructors and all kinds of different things. Let's see, I think this is also from John. Yep, I think it was from John. LifterLMS has an advanced videos add-on. You don't need this to use CourseMaker Pro or get started. what our advanced videos add-on does, I will put a link in, or we'll put a link in the chat. Is it basically gives you some really advanced controls over your lesson videos. If you are doing continuing education for like an industry, sometimes there's legal requirements where people have to watch the whole video before the lesson can be completed. Like they need that restricted by law. It fulfills that requirement. There's also, we took some inspiration from Netflix and YouTube and how it got into auto advancing, and we wanted to remove some friction around if somebody wants to go through a course and it kind of goes from one lesson to the next, can they take a more, without having to click the mark complete button, can we just have a more elegant progression flow? And so that's an option in there. There's also a bunch of video analytics that we pull into the reporting if you really want to kind of geek out about what the video progress in the reporting. So that's what Advanced Videos does. It's not necessary to start, but this is just one of those things that emerged from us talking with our community for very frequently over the past 5 years. So we built it. And yeah, Gene was asking, he needs that for course tracking. Yes, you can, LifterLMS has tracking built in, progression tracking and grading and all kinds of stuff, but the advanced video add-on or plugin brings video tracking to a whole new level. Samantha asked earlier, she noticed that WooCommerce is not part of this. And what about multi-course sites? I think we answered the multi-course site question, but for WooCommerce, if you go back to our original Lifter presentation about wanting to be an all-in-one solution, Lifter has a very powerful e-commerce engine that can work. You connect it to your Stripe, PayPal. So it's not dependent on a third-party e-commerce engine. However, we know in the WordPress community, this goes to our other value about connecting to anything, is we wanted WooCommerce users to be able to use it too. So we deliver the same functionality through our WooCommerce integration if you decide to use WooCommerce for your e-commerce engine. And we have all kinds of documentation, and we've got a training webinar about the intersection of LifterLMS and WooCommerce that if you're into that or need help figuring out if you need it or not, we have all kinds of resources to help with that. So let's see, Atara was asking, just in terms of video demonstrations of, I believe, CourseMaker Pro. We just had one here, but I guess for you guys in terms of at the brand ID, what do you have for support resources? You know, and also this video. I mean, the thing is, let me just say this. This is pretty cool. Sometimes technology companies work really hard and it just looks like Alex just like clicked that button and then it was like done. Like to me, I'm just like, this is amazing. There's like these plugins installing in the background, demo content's coming in. The copywriting coach is like sitting here in the wings. Like, so, I mean, a lot of the video tutorial was actually in just 30 seconds of video that was during this presentation. But what other resources do you guys have for support at the brand ID?
At the brand ID, if you purchase our themes, you immediately get access to our support forums. So if you have any questions or issues, you can post your question in there and I'll be the one to answer it. We have a full theme setup documentation for all of CourseMaker Pro, and it goes how to set up every single thing. And I even tell you what blocks I used in the block editor so you can be as granular as I did or further.
Right on.
I put the link in the chat to the support forum.
That's awesome.
And we also offer these really low cost customization packages on Build My Brand ID. I think they're under $200. So for someone who just doesn't want to get their hands dirty at all, there's also that option too. Yeah,
I just want to throw that out there too. If to that earlier question, like the person who was saying, I'm not a techie, but I'm an expert in this field, you can get into it and you can learn it, and all the companies here will support you in that process. But sometimes you just need like a couple hours of the help of a professional, and whatever you were struggling with, it just goes out of the way and you can move on. So there's always like that trade-off, and that's really cool that you guys can kind of offer both options for people to do. Gene has a question. Lifter requires 2 columns. Does CourseMaker Pro theme support this? I'm not sure that's 100% accurate, Gene. Lifter can have a sidebar, or it doesn't need a sidebar with the new block editor. And the LifterLMS was a really early adopter of the Gutenberg block editor, it's called. So we have little components if you want to build a custom like course template, move things around. So I believe, tell us how it works at CourseMaker Pro, but it's pretty flexible. Like if you want, you can change it up. If you want 2, you want 3, you want 1. I don't know. What do you guys say, Alex?
So we use one of the theme settings that comes with Genesis. You can specify if you want your entire site to use a left sidebar or right sidebar or just be full width. And when you run the one-click theme setup, we have it defaulted to be just full width. But that option is there for you to definitely assign where you want the sidebars to be, and then the Lifter sidebars will show up there. And we have that fully documented in our setup documentation.
That is awesome. And I remember that when I first was doing the, when the original launch of Lifter on October 14th, 2014, with our Genesis demo site. Yeah, I remember I remember just being so impressed with the sidebar options. I'm like, this is so sweet and it's so easy.
I think one of the things that I don't think we've harped on probably enough today is just how easy the block editor is at customizing this content. Genesis certainly prides itself on the layout, but what the brand idea has done here in this theme and also other themes, Hello Pro by sake of example, really just outstanding work with the demo content and using the block editor. Things you didn't think you can do before as a non-developer, you can do. And it's not just Genesis themes taking advantage of this in WordPress core. It's a lot of themes, and it's a really exciting moment to be in the WordPress community and also to be using it to build, because you can do things you've never been able to do before without knowing code.
That is awesome. And we're going to keep going on questions, but I saw you in the chat, Rachel. You want to talk about the coupon code?
Yeah, we're offering just a 20% discount off of the CourseMaker Pro theme through our website, and the coupon code is Lifter20.
That's awesome. Appreciate you doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to keep going on questions. Atara was asking about putting forms or debrief questions in a lesson. That is possible. And Lifter has a couple, it integrates with 4 form plugins: Gravity, Ninja, Formidable, and WP Forms. You can also stick any WordPress form plugin in a lesson, but what our integration with those does is you can, if you want to, require people to complete the form before they can continue to the next lesson. So if you do want to do a survey or debrief, you can do that. Susan asks, did I see the lesson syllabus displayed similar to Course Archive? Can you guys speak to that, Alex or Rachel?
Yeah, we have it displayed in like a grid, but we do include that option to turn off all of the customization settings if you don't want it to appear that way. And it's very easy to change how those are displayed with, updating your custom CSS on your website. And that's always something that we can help on via our support forums if users need that help.
Yeah, that's awesome. That kind of ties together just the whole conversation around flexibility. We give you a starting point. If you want to do something else, you can change the blocks, you can change the layout. Super, super flexible. And I love what you guys did there, because it's a very different, it's like a more visual grid-based approach to the syllabus. I think it's gorgeous, and it really shines the light in a visual way on the, what's for the buyer experience, or if it's a free course, the student enrolling, they get a strong visual of like, what's in the box? What do I get when I get this? So Bianca says that she's a tech virtual assistant, been using LifterLMS for a while, and she helps keep her clients' course sites updated, and she's wanting to launch her own course this year, which we see a lot. Once people, I call them builders. These are WordPress freelancers and agencies that build courses or membership sites for clients, once they get into it, it's something you kind of fall in love with a little bit. And you're like, you know what, I could make a course. One of the things I say is that there's a course inside all of us. And when everybody has something of value to share with the world, and just, there's never been a better time with the tech that's available at your fingertips. And, so much friction has moved out of the way. And, like what we're talking about here with companies that just make it even easier and affordable to get started to build an entire global micro multinational, I call it, or educational empire that you can sell courses all over the world. There's never been a better time. Tech's never been better. Marketing tools have never been better. I think it's an amazing thing. So once you kind of see some people doing it, I see a lot of people have that light bulb moment, like I could do that. So I'm excited for you, Bianca. I can't wait to see what comes up.
Bianca, real quick, I'll share during my agency days earlier, I mentioned that I launched a course. I ended up staying focused on my agency and not propelling the course, but I remember that project I would earn out of effort versus return. I earned $1,000 an hour doing that, which I was like, that is incredible. It wasn't the focus of my business at the time, but there's a lot of opportunity there for the right topic if you can get at the right audience.
Yeah, that's awesome. Natalie asks, is there an option to have a private discussion forum that is not a Facebook group? And the answer is yes. With LifterLMS, there's several ways to do that. We have a native BBPress integration, which is a popular free WordPress forum plugin that you can restrict access to based on what course or membership that they're enrolled in. So that's sitting there waiting for you. And also really discussion design, I call it, how you want conversation to happen in the digital learning experience. There's actually a lot of tools inside Lifter around our social learning add-on, our private coaching add-on, which is called Private Areas, even the way we pull in the WordPress commenting system under lessons and courses, and all the other tools that you can integrate with that bring in different kinds of commenting and conversation. That's an area as a course creator that I recommend you spend a lot of time just thinking about, like what kind of conversation channels, public, private, group, one-to-one, in the WordPress site, off the WordPress site. There's just a lot of options out there. So when you are at the beginning of a project, design the experience, the digital experience with that in mind. Because, I was looking at there's a popular best in the world subscription service called Masterclass, where you can learn to cook with like David Ramsey, or learn how to do techno music from famous techno players, all this stuff. But it's like $15 a month. And why is that? If I could learn from the best in the world how to become an entrepreneur, or write a book, or write a screenplay, or mix techno music, why is it only $15? And this goes back to Rachel's earlier point about what makes you special, what are your values, what is the brand of you? And when you include conversation in that, what, like the access or the high fidelity experience that you're designing, this is what's of value. I mean, I hear people, it's almost cliche in digital online business where people say they come for the content, but they stay for the community, or they stay for the coaching, or whatever. It's true. And that's why you can charge a lot more, even than the best in the world, for their $15 a month subscription royalty or whatever, because there is only one you, and we can create, when we focus on learner results in their experience, we can create a world-class training platform. So Atara has one more question, and then I think we're going to wrap it up. She's saying, she wants to invest now. Does she also need to buy Genesis? And how can you explain how they're combined a little bit? And that kind of
thing? Absolutely. So Genesis is the theme framework that underpins what's called the child theme CourseMaker Pro. Now, CourseMaker Pro is a product by the brand ID, and Genesis is a product made by WP Engine. You do need the Genesis framework in order to operate CourseMaker Pro. So if you're not a WP Engine customer where you get it for free, freely distributed, freely supported, then you would buy the Genesis framework. We also will be rolling out options for customers on the Flywheel platform, hopefully very soon. So that'll give you another choice there. But with that purchase, and fundamentally the value we deliver to theme providers is basically being that powerhouse behind their products, meaning that they can benefit from our research, our investment in engineering, and then you as a customer of the Genesis framework also benefit from our support relative to Genesis. And so yes, it is a separate purchase unless you're on WP Engine, and in the future Flywheel, where those benefits will be available to you right there. So it just depends, I guess, is the answer.
That is awesome. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. We just pulled the winner. It is Moore Cohen. You're the winner of the $99 a year LifterLMS add-on. So congratulations, Moore. Send us an email to team@lifterlms.com so we have your email and we will hook you up. David, Rachel, Alex, I want to thank you all for coming on the show. This has been a great conversation between 3 WordPress companies. Kathy and Allie, thank you for supporting me in organizing this and being backup in case my generator ran out of gas. But I am running this webinar from mobile hotspot, so I'm glad everything came together. And I thought it was going to be me that was going to have the tech troubles. Webinars are actually a little challenging to run. There's always like something that happens. So I think we pulled this one off quite well. And just one more time, I'll start with you, Rachel. Where do people go if they want to go deep on Course Maker Pro? Visit
buildmybrandid.com. And thanks so much for having us on today. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you to you and Alex. It's fantastic, and I'm honored that you all chose LifterLMS to work with and integrate with. And I just love the product you've built, and more importantly, the experience it's providing, the opportunity to the people. David, what's the best way to connect with you or WP Engine and figure out how to start or switch?
Yeah, WPEngine.com. You can check out our plans there. Again, our support folks will help you get your website up and going on the WP Engine platform. So check that out. And if you'd like to learn more about engaging with the Genesis community, there's a ton of builders out there in that same boat as you all. You can go to genesis.community. We have free Slack channels, Facebook groups, forums, so you can kind of jump in there and join a community of other people building with WordPress and building with Genesis.
All right. And Allie, no pressure, but it looks like the record did not go on my side, so be sure not to close your laptop after we do this. And yeah, I just want to thank you all for coming. Again, I really appreciate it. We will send out a replay as long as everything goes according to plan. And yeah, I'm Chris from LifterLMS. You can find me at LifterLMS.com. And thank you all for coming. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day.
See you, Chris.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.